If you grew up in the 90s, chances are you spent a lot of evenings watching Tim, the toolman Taylor, grunting his way through life on Home Improvement.
What are we going to do with all this laundry?
Not to worry. We modified this little trash compactor. Ha ha, perfect.
The show wasn't just a sitcom. It became a cultural phenomenon, making power tools and flannel shirts cool while turning Tim Allen into one of the biggest stars in television. But what went on behind the scenes was just as wild, dramatic, and sometimes shocking as what you saw on screen. Today, we're diving into 12 of the craziest, real behind-the-scenes stories from Home Improvement. And trust me, some of these will leave you stunned. Number 1. Tim Allen's real-life arrest record shocked Disney executives. Before Tim Allen became the lovable toolman, he had a dark chapter in his past. In 1978, long before his comedy career took off, Allen was arrested in Michigan for attempting to traffic a large amount of cocaine. He ended up serving just over 2 years in federal prison after cooperating with authorities. By the time Disney cast him in Home Improvement, he had turned his life around. But when executives found out about his record, they were nervous about putting him in a family sitcom. In fact, Allen was one of the first Disney actors with a felony record to lead a primetime show. Audiences, however, embraced him for his humor and charm, and his past soon faded into the background. Today, that arrest is often remembered as one of the most surprising facts about the squeaky clean world of 90s television.
2. Jonathan Taylor Thomas left the show at its peak.
Not too bad. She finally stopped saying, "Boys, whatever you do, don't turn out to be like your father."
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who played middle son Randy Taylor, became one of the biggest teen heartthrobs of the 90s. Posters of him covered bedroom walls, and he was regularly featured in Tiger Beat and Teen Bop. But in the 8th season of Home Improvement, JTT shocked fans when he left the show. At the time, he said he wanted to focus on school and broaden his acting career, though many speculated that tension with Tim Allen also played a role. Allen later admitted he was hurt that Thomas didn't even come back for the series finale. Fans felt the absence, since Randy was arguably the most popular Taylor kid. Looking back, Thomas's decision marked one of the first times a teen star voluntarily stepped away from fame. His choice proved how much pressure young actors were under in the 90s to balance school, personal life, and Hollywood. Number 3. Pamela Anderson got her start on the show.
Lisa, why don't you tell us what you'll be using to do your tack welds?
I'll be using a MIG welder.
Oh, I love it. Tim, release.
Before Pamela Anderson became a global icon thanks to Baywatch, she got her first big break on Home Improvement. Anderson played Lisa, the original Tool Time girl, who introduced segments on Tim Taylor's fictional handyman show. While her role was small, it gave her enough exposure to land bigger opportunities. Fans loved her, and her popularity skyrocketed, but after just 2 seasons, she left to join the cast of Baywatch. The switch proved to be career-defining, making Anderson one of the most famous women of the 1990s. Interestingly, her departure paved the way for Debbie Dunning to step in as Heidi, another Tool Time assistant, who stayed on for the rest of the series. Anderson has said that Home Improvement gave her the platform she needed to get noticed, proving that sometimes even a supporting role can change the course of a career forever. 4. Richard Karn's unexpected journey to becoming Al Borland.
I get your point now, Tim. You respect me, huh? You really respect me.
We'll be right back after these messages from Benford Tool.
Al Borland, Tim's trusty flannel-wearing sidekick on Tool Time, was never supposed to be a permanent character. In fact, Richard Karn only got the part by accident. He had moved to Los Angeles to pursue acting, but was working odd jobs when his agent suggested he attend a traffic school, where he just so happened to meet someone connected to the Home Improvement casting team. At the time, the show's producers needed a quick fill-in for Tim's assistant, since the original actor, Stephen Tobolowsky, was unavailable. Karn stepped in, and audiences loved him so much that Al became a series regular. His dry one-liners, most famously, "I don't think so, Tim," turned into one of the show's most iconic catchphrases.
You gonna hold that nail for me?
Now hold that nail.
I don't think so, Tim.
What's wild is that Karn went from struggling actor to household name almost overnight, all thanks to a chance encounter at traffic school. 5. Zachary Ty Bryan's troubled life after fame.
What the hell happened to you?
I got a haircut.
With what, a weed whacker?
Tan.
What is this thing?
It's a ponytail.
Why did you do that to yourself?
Well, I went to the barber shop, I saw the picture, and I thought it looked cool.
You look like an idiot.
Zachary Ty Bryan, who played the oldest Taylor son Brad, seemed destined for long-term Hollywood success after Home Improvement. But unlike his co-star Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Bryan struggled to maintain his career after the show ended. He appeared in a few films, including The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, but his personal life soon made headlines more than his acting. In later years, Bryan faced multiple legal issues, including arrests related to fraud and domestic violence. Fans who grew up watching Brad Taylor as the cool, athletic big brother were shocked to see Bryan's struggles splashed across tabloids. His story has become a cautionary tale about the difficulties child stars often face when transitioning into adulthood. Despite the challenges, Bryan has expressed hopes of turning his life around, but his rocky journey remains one of the most tragic home improvement after stories. The mysterious neighbor Wilson was based on real life.
What are you doing, Wilson?
Well, Tim, I'm admiring my yams.
Should I leave you alone?
One of the most iconic characters on Home Improvement was Wilson, the wise and mysterious neighbor who always offered Tim advice from behind a fence. The running gag was that viewers never saw Wilson's full face, only his eyes and forehead. This quirky idea came directly from Tim Allen's childhood. Growing up, Allen had a neighbor whose face was often obscured by a tall fence when they talked, and the memory stuck with him. The writers turned it into a brilliant sitcom gimmick. Played by Earl Hindman, Wilson became a fan favorite, often delivering heartfelt advice in a way that balanced Tim's goofy antics. Hindman embraced the role and later said he loved being recognized more for his voice than his face. Sadly, Hindman passed away in 2003, but the character of Wilson remains one of the most unique and beloved sitcom neighbors in TV history. 7. Debbie Dunning replaced Pamela Anderson and almost didn't get the role.
Thanks for filling in for Al, Heidi.
Well, sure, anything to help. But, I'm a little nervous. You and Al work so well off each other.
Oh, come on. You're going to do just fine.
When Pamela Anderson left Home Improvement to pursue her role on Baywatch, producers needed someone new to play the Tool Time girl. Debbie Dunning eventually landed the role of Heidi, but it wasn't a smooth ride. At first, casting directors weren't convinced she could match Anderson's charisma and appeal. Dunning, however, brought something different. She leaned into humor, relatability, and her ability to keep up with Tim Allen's chaotic antics. Over time, fans warmed up to her, and Heidi became an irreplaceable part of the show. In fact, many viewers ended up preferring her because she blended charm with comedic timing instead of just being eye candy. Dunning stayed until the very end of the series, proving the skeptics wrong. It's a great example of how sometimes the underdog, or in this case the unexpected choice, can end up becoming just as iconic, if not more, than the original star. And 8. Tim Allen's onset injuries were real. Tim Toolman Taylor was famous for slapstick accidents, falling off ladders, smashing fingers, or creating chaotic disasters on Tool Time. But what many fans don't know is that Tim Allen's pratfalls weren't always as safe as they looked. Allen admitted in interviews that he genuinely hurt himself during filming. From straining his back while wrestling with props to accidentally smashing his own hand with a hammer, his commitment to physical comedy often left him sore, bruised, and sometimes limping home after a long shoot. His wife at the time even joked about how he was bringing work injuries home. But those mishaps added authenticity to the show. Viewers laughed because Allen looked like he was really in pain, and sometimes he was. It showed just how far he was willing to go to sell a gag. Enter 9. Patricia Richardson almost didn't play Jill.
Who are you calling?
Time.
Oh, I got the time. It's 9:35.
Hello, Marie.
Oh, boy.
How much time did you give Tim to get that picture?
It's hard to imagine Home Improvement without Patricia Richardson as Jill Taylor, the loving, witty, and strong mom who kept Tim and the boys in line. But here's the twist. She wasn't the original choice. Producers first cast Frances Fisher, who's best known for her role in Titanic. The problem? Fisher's dramatic acting style didn't gel with the show's lighthearted comedy. After filming the pilot, it became clear she wasn't the right fit. Enter Patricia Richardson, who joined the cast at the very last minute. She clicked instantly with Tim Allen, creating one of TV's most realistic and relatable sitcom marriages. Richardson wasn't afraid to challenge Allen's character, balancing his over-the-top antics with sharp wit and genuine heart. That dynamic became a cornerstone of the show. Sometimes the best casting choices aren't plan A. They're the ones that sneak in and end up redefining the series. 10. The cast's huge salary demands ended the show. By the late 90s, Home Improvement was still a hit, but behind the scenes, things got complicated. Tim Allen was reportedly offered a massive $50 million paycheck for a 9th season, while Patricia Richardson was offered $25 million. That kind of money would have made them two of the highest-paid sitcom stars on TV. But Richardson surprised everyone by turning it down, saying she wanted to spend more time with her family. Allen later admitted he didn't want to continue without her, so he walked away too. Without its two leads, ABC had no choice but to end the series. What's fascinating is that Home Improvement didn't die because of low ratings. It ended because the stars valued their personal lives over more money. That decision gave the show a natural, dignified ending, rather than letting it drag on past its prime, which might be why it's remembered so fondly today. 11. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was the voice of Simba during the show.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
And this'll all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches. What about that shadowy place?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas wasn't just the Taylor family's middle child, Randy. He was also the voice of young Simba in The Lion King. While filming Home Improvement, JTT was balancing schoolwork, sitcom fame, and recording lines for what would become one of Disney's most successful animated movies ever. When Simba sang "I Just Can't Wait to Be King," it was actually JTT behind the mic. This double life made him a pop culture icon of the 90s, both a teen heartthrob on TV and the voice behind a Disney legend. But all that fame came at a price. Between juggling multiple projects and the non-stop media attention, JTT admitted to burnout. That's partly why he eventually stepped back from Hollywood to focus on his education. Still, his dual claim to fame, sitcom star and Disney royalty, cemented his place as one of the decade's biggest teen stars. 12. The cast stayed close after the show ended. Many sitcom casts go their separate ways once the cameras stop rolling, but the Home Improvement crew kept their bond alive. Tim Allen and Richard Karn, Al Borland, reunited years later to host the History Channel's Assembly Required, a competition show that felt like a spiritual spin-off of Tool Time. Patricia Richardson also stayed connected, occasionally joining Allen for reunions and charity events. Even Jonathan Taylor Thomas reappeared years later on Allen's sitcom Last Man Standing, which thrilled longtime fans. Their continued friendships proved that the chemistry audiences loved wasn't just for show, it was genuine. This rare closeness is part of what keeps Home Improvement so beloved today. When fans see the cast together, it feels like revisiting family. After all, while the Taylors were fictional, the bonds between the actors were the real deal, lasting long after the final curtain call. Home Improvement wasn't just a funny sitcom, it was a huge part of 90s pop culture. And as we've seen, the stories behind the cameras were just as fascinating as the episodes themselves. From surprise casting choices to shocking exits, the making of the show had its share of drama, laughs, and even a few real injuries. So next time you catch a rerun of Tim the Toolman Taylor grunting away, remember, the real story behind the show might be even crazier than the one you see on screen. That's a wrap on our 12 behind-the-scenes stories from Home Improvement. What were your favorite Home Improvement memories? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at one of the most popular sitcoms from the 90s, please like the video and subscribe for more deep dives on your favorite shows from the 90s and early 2000s.